Welcome back to our channels again, Warriors. We are still growing. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, make sure you smash it right now. This episode right here is going to go out to the real ones. All the solid dudes on both sides of the house, right? The OGs. What defines an OG? What type of characteristics do these OGs have, right? Do they move a certain way? Do they talk a certain way? Do they act a certain way? Yeah, and you can spot them. You can spot them a mile away. All right. Let's go down to a solid cop. All right. What defines a solid officer? What are some characteristics? All right. Now, the best and easiest way for me to do this is just to think back and think of all those solid cops that I enjoyed working with, right? Because I felt safe. Safe in my personal safety. Safe that I wasn't going to get in trouble. Safe that I wasn't going to get drug into some BS or an unnecessary drama, right? That type of safe. These solid cops, they're more often than not quiet. Real quiet. They don't boast. They don't brag. Stuff they have been involved in the past, and I know, because I was involved in some of those incidents with some of those dudes, they don't go around talking about it. They don't go around reliving their glory days. They don't have to. They absolutely do not have to. Because that word gets out. People will look and amongst themselves be like, oh, that dude's solid. That dude's straight, right? Thumbs up. Only talking about good stuff here, so thumbs up. They have excellent communication skills. Excellent. And in prison, when your words can set off a riot, communication skills are valuable. Gold, right? More so than these things right here. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. This is more of a last resort, and we'll get there. So, they're very respectful, right? Even if they're caught in a bad situation or they get disrespected by an inmate or by somebody else, they don't even really necessarily lose their cool. There's some times where they might lose their cool depending on the circumstances, but they're cool, calm, collective, and believe me, they're going to handle theirs. They're going to rise to the occasion. They're going to stand their ground. They're going to stand up for what's right, even if they see something wrong, right? If they see their partner getting out of line, they will check them. Trust me, they will check them. You guys don't see this because we will never, ever, ever check our own in front of the inmate population, right? Unless you have poor leadership skills, and then that happens, which I've seen. But I'm talking about solid dudes, right? There's a way to move. There's a way to communicate. They're fair. They're extremely fair. They listen to both sides of a story, right? They're not based off of emotions. Not based off of impulse. They respond versus react. They think things through. They're particularly absolutely great at articulating things, right? Report writing. It's almost like they're straight soldiers, right? Like straight militant, you can say, right? But this is law enforcement. This is being a correctional officer. When it kicks off, when there's a staff assault, when they are in the immediate area, without a doubt, they're going to be right there. They're going to be right there in the mix, getting beat up with everybody else. Trust me, right? It's not so much of not having fear. Everybody has fear, right? It's more so not letting it cripple you. It's more so not letting it overtake you, overwhelm you. It's, like I said, it's not always about winning. And these solid cops know that. It's not about, I mean, can you really win? If you're getting jumped by 50, 100, 150 dudes, like then and there, can you win? No, you're gonna take that L then and there, right? So it is beyond that, right? And that's what made me feel safe. That's what made me feel safe. As a sergeant, as a lieutenant, as a supervisor for the California Department of Corrections, you can have 20 non-solid individuals, right? And sprinkle in a couple weenies. As long as there's that one, fuck, that's all I needed. That's all we need, right? The one that's going to bring the others back. Their brain operates fast, right? This needs to get done. This needs to get done. Autopilot, boom, boom, boom. Sequence, they're just handling it, right? We start quelling the violence, right? We start providing medical care. We start patching people up. We start making radio calls, right? It's all relevant. It is all relevant. If there's something brewing tension brewing on the yards, these solid cops, oh man, I'm thinking of one in particular. They are able to go to the other side, blue side, and talk to who they need to talk to because they know who they need to talk to and level it out. Probably 90% of the time, situations are avoided. Bad situations are avoided, right? Due to that communication, due to that link, right? Now check this out. An OG inmate. Man, you know, when I was young in the department, it's kind of all the same. It's kind of all the same because you're new. You don't know what the hell is transpiring, right? You're just trying to survive. And then you get some time under your belt. You start meeting different individuals, start meeting different inmates. You start realizing, hey man, that guy over there is a pain in the ass. That guy over there is always talking shit. He's always calling me out. He's always stirring the pot, right? That gets dealt with. I'm talking about the OGs, man. There was a perception, right, that I don't show love to the blacks. Well, when I think of OGs, there's a lot of black OGs that I came across in my career. Sentinel State Prison. These dudes came from Calipat, right? Man, one big giant dude in particular, massive, monster, right? Dude looked like a straight killer, was like a straight killer. He didn't move like that though. He didn't move like that. Was I nervous around the guy? His sheer size? Absolutely. His mean looking face? Yeah, it was like, man, if and when the time ever comes where we have to cross paths in that manner, it's gonna suck. It's gonna suck, right? Also, quiet. Very calm. Almost an eerie calm to it because it's like, man, you're looking at this dude, right? And the dude is clearly about it. Another thing, these OG inmates, and they know, you guys know, they don't have to brag about what they did. You will never, ever, ever in a million years hear an OG, a real one, say, check my C file. Why would they? They don't have to. Plus, their freaking C file is probably like, you would need like a cart. I mean, these dudes have put in work. 100% work, man. I'm talking about the 90s, the 80s, the 1980s for you youngsters, the 80s, the 90s, right? 2000s, they kind of started pumping the brakes when they realized, like, man, you know, you start getting old, right? It starts, you know, your muscles start wearing down. Being in the mix all the time, right? Respectful. And working as a prison guard, there's always that thought of, hey, they're always manipulating you. They're always trying to manipulate you. The blue side. And it's kind of ingrained in you at the academy. They're always trying to get one up. They're always trying to see what they can get. And while that is true, right, and you probably should be cautious of that you don't fall trap to some form of manipulation tactic, when I dealt with these individuals, these OGs, they were straight shooters. And this is me telling you guys, it almost feels kind of weird for me to say it. But like, I'm out now, but legitimately they were straight shooters. And I guess I could say that because I made it through. I was in there, I made it through. They never did me dirty. Those dudes never did me dirty. Like, If the opportunity arose where we had to go to war, then you bet your sweet dollar those dudes were going to be with the business. They had no choice. They have no choice. Those are the rules. Those are the rules of the California penal system, my friends. It's all business. Write this down. It's all business, right? And an OG understands that. They truly understand that, man. Being an OG, right? And let's talk about other OGs. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have a position of authority. Have I come across those? 100%, absolute. And those individuals are OGs and position of authority. But you don't have to be a shot caller to be an OG. You don't have to be, that's what I'm trying to say, is that you could spot these dudes, man. When there was tension amongst staff, they could come up to me, they could come up to another supervisor, they can come up to a solid cop and say, hey man, this is what's going on. This is not telling, this is not snitching, this is, trust me, when we say is as much necessary as anything else, if not more. Like, you really, really need this. Trust me, man, this is called like a democracy, I think. Like, whatever it is that you call, where two people come together with clear heads prevail, and resolve a bad situation. Now, when I say bad, it can get as bad as murders, right? They can murder us, we can murder them. Like, it's a legal homicide with the Mini 14, but like, that's how ugly. A bloodbath. A simple bloodbath, right? I'm not talking about nothing minor, right? And those OGs know that, and those solid cops know that because they've been through it. They've been through the trenches. They've been through the wars. And you know what? So be it. So be it that they can talk the problems through. Even better. Hell yeah. That's what I like. Right? Because any dummy can fight. Anybody can prove that. High school kids fight all the time, right? But when you're playing with the mind, right, the chess game, that's what's up. That's what's up. So my hat's off to all those OGs, all the solid ones. And man, trust me when I say, I know that the newer generation has crept up. Oof, the newer generation has crept up, right? But for what it's worth, till our last dying breath, I think we owe it to everybody else to give back as much as possible, right? That in itself is a message. So, if you conduct yourself like a solid cop, and you conduct yourself like an OG convict, right? If I've been utilizing the word inmate in this video, I apologize. I truly meant to say convict, because that's what's up, right? And on both sides of the house, that's the last of a dying breed. Keep pushing forward.